down, you guys. April 27th, 2026. It's Monday. How was everyone's weekend? We had snow again here in Manitoba. It snowed again last night. Just absolutely fantastic. But now it's plus 4 degrees Celsius. That's 39.2 degrees Fahrenheit to you guys down in the States. Yeah, new strip down, 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than that, it's probably just BS anyways. So let's get into the news. Two former Israeli prime ministers agree to merge parties against Benjamin Netanyahu. Lapid and Bennett have served in a coalition before together, but will seek to unite in a fragmented opposition with little in common except for their shared hatred for towards Netanyahu there. So this could be a good thing, finally getting, Netanyahu out of there. So yeah, they announced this on Sunday. The two political heavyweights said that they would join forces in a common election with Bennett to be the face of the party in a shared effort to seat up and put an end to Netanyahu's 12-year reign in power. We could finally actually start to see some change here in Netanyahu as he announced last week there his diagnosis of cancer. Oh, was it pancreatic cancer or bladder cancer or something like that? It doesn't matter what type of cancer, but holding that back before the conflict in Iran. Hey, 2-4. Him holding this back, this is going to start to make people realize, Netanyahu right now is kind of a wounded dog, kind of trapped in the corner. And would anyone have listened to Netanyahu if he would have done his cancer diagnosis beforehand? Because right now, Trump and Netanyahu are two wounded dogs right now, trapped in a corner. And their only way to get out of this situation right now is to just keep fighting. And, with these two new leaders, joining and uniting together to finally fed up with all this. It's amazing to see, two parties that really had nothing to do with each other in the first place are now joining power, after seeing, this is enough. And, with Trump's a wounded animal too right now. Like what he got himself into with Iran, uh, I don't think he just realized that he was going to have this much type of retaliation. And then with the sanctions on Russian billionaires, uh, there's Russian oligarchs and their multi hundreds of $1 million super yachts still traveling through the Strait of Hormuz with complete ease and no threats towards them by any means. So, really, what's happening with these blockades here and what's happening with these sanctions? Because now that this conflict happened in Iran, everyone's kind of forgot about Russia here. Like, hey, you guys remember we had sanctions against them so we could stop putting money towards the war machine. But let's just start another war and give Russia some more power. And Russia is in talks right now with Iranian officials due to the fact that Trump canceled their meeting with what's his name there. I don't even want to mention his name. He's just another person who's going to be reaping the benefits of this conflict. What is it, Kushner? There we go, Kushner. And has anyone else seen that little guy, that little Italian guy that's hanging out with Kushner doing these meetings in Iran? You can't tell me that guy is not connected to the mob. Like, well, technically, the government right now is the mob. The Canadian government's the mob. The U.S. government, it's all controlled by the mob. These are all gangsters who just got into power, and now they're just showing their strength, And with what's coming down on Trump's end here, he's gonna start biting even harder because he's literally trapped in a corner right now with Satan Yahoo there. And I'd really like to see some major changes in Iran, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in Iran that probably feel the same way, or not Iran, in Israel, and a lot of people in Israel that feel the same way. It's getting a little close to Benjamin, being a little too long in power. Like, look what's happened with Putin. He just finding other ways to get keep his power just by changing his name and his political seating. And then over to Canada, Shell Fuel is doubling down in North America gas in a major long-term LNG, liquid natural gas demand, and to have agreed to buy Canadians' ARC Resources in a $16.4 billion deal that will roughly create 370,000 barrels of oil equivalent per day to production and strengthen its position in the strategic gas corridors. And this won't even just boost production, this is also going to help replenish reserves that they have as part of its Asia growth strategy. So yeah, Shell's Fuel, they're seeing some positive things here in Canada. You know, we did shut down a lot of oil and gas and kind of forgot about it for quite a few years because of the Harper government put all our money into oil and gas, and then we had the Trudeau government come in and canceled all these projects, or if not, just put more regulations on these projects. So if Shell Fuel wants to do this, they're still going to have to deal with some, you know, government regulations and then political regulations, and then you're going to have to deal with the Indians and the native. We call them bans here in Canada, but treaty bans. So they're still going to have to deal with them. So no real sign. Like Shell Fuel says, yeah, we're going to keep investing in Canada, but really haven't seen any like money getting thrown on the table yet, and haven't had any real like permanent like discussed like what's actually happening now. You know, it's all everything's on paper, but when it's on paper, it's still no good. You know, we need to start seeing some actual major changes here. Like if you guys say you're going to invest money in the company, let's see it. Like put the money on the table where we can see it right now. Let's start seeing some changes here. And over to Germany, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz is speaking up, saying that the U.S. is being humiliated by Iran, as he did not have, he had a clear path going into this conflict, but obviously didn't have a clear plan on getting out. So pretty much right now, the U.S. and Israel have pretty much dug themselves a hole, and they broke both of the shovels. So now they have no way of digging themselves out of this too. And like I had just reiterated, these are two wounded animals right now. And you ever see a stray dog who's wounded in a corner? It will do anything to get out and still survive. And this is exactly what Satan Yahoo and, you know, hairpiece Trump are doing right now. So, yeah, that's, I don't see anything wrong with what German Chancellor said. He's totally 100% correct with this. And like Germany's starting to get fed up right now with all these tactics and stuff. Like nothing's actually getting done. We're still watching the fuel costs go up. We're still watching products go up in the grocery stores. And it's not just like Canada and the US. The whole world is feeling this conflict right now. And you know, before even jumping into this war, there should have been a strategy about this. What has changed since the Iraq Afghanistan war? It's the same quagmire comparison. Like here, we're gonna go in here. We're only gonna be here for a couple years, and before you know it, we're stuck there for how long? Losing American soldiers, Canadian soldiers, British soldiers, all for what? To just give them all everything back? Like, does anybody see what's actually happening in Afghanistan right now? The Taliban has taken over again, and they're still running the country with an iron fist. But people say it is a lot more free than how it was before, due to the fact that they pretty much killed all the Afghani, you know, old guard out of there. You got rid of them, and now you got this newer generation that's coming in. You know, they see a little bit more value in their country instead of just killing their people. So yeah, shout out to Mertz there. He's quite a smart guy. And over to Manitoba news here in Canada. Manitoba's premier Wob Canoe. Yes, his name's Wob Canoe. I'm not making fun of this guy. And trust me, people thought I was making fun of this guy. No, his name is Wob. I'm not speaking with a speech impediment, okay? So Premier Wob Canoe has announced that he wants to, well, he's putting up plans to ban social media and AI chatbots for youth. and because it's playing a major part in mental health and social harms at these age ranges. And then the implementation date is still up for debate right now, as Britain has made rulings kind of in the same general census. You know, countries throughout Europe right now are starting to ban social media for people below a certain age. It varies depending on what country you're going to. And to tell you the truth, yeah, this social media should be banned. Like, you should have a bit of a head on your shoulders and know where you're going in life before you start diving into this stuff. Social media is not a friendly place, and if you're gonna sit there and think everyone's gonna give you a pat on the back by using social media, you are completely wrong. There's gonna be 10 more people to that one person out there to just dog on you. So if you can't handle stuff like that, then you shouldn't be on social media in the first place. And for use to not be using social media, I speak for this 100%. Like, they shouldn't, if they don't have the right to vote, they don't have the right to drink, they don't have the right to smoke marijuana, why do they have the right to even use social media? This is more dangerous than alcohol and tobacco and marijuana combined. Like, we're not worrying about drugs and alcohol killing people. We're worrying about people killing themselves over some words that people are saying. So if people can't handle stuff like this, then, maybe AI and technology is not the thing for you, and maybe you should become a farmer. And on top of that, though, over to the UK, Britain has made a ruling to announce anyone born after January 1st, 2009 will never be able to purchase cigarettes. Yes, Britain's going to lose around $8 billion per year in tax revenue on the cigarettes, but Britain's planning on, we're going to have less health problems, we're going to have more functional workers because we'll have less people taking smoke breaks, and they're expecting to make this $8 billion back in, like, less healthcare and better workers. Well, we still have all these smokers that we have to deal with. To say that it's going to relieve the health industry, no, it's not going to relieve the health industry. There's still going to be decades behind this where you're still going to be dealing with the effects of this. So, and then what's going to happen? What happens when they in prohibition? You make something illegal, someone's going to take advantage of this. And then who normally takes advantage of it? The criminals, like the mob, gangsters. They're going to find a niche in this market where now they're going to make tax-free money for their own pockets. To sit here and ban a product, you're just going to create more problems down the road from here when it comes to stuff like that. Like, they're going to find a market for it. And it's going to be coming through illegally by all means. Like, people right now are already buying illegal cigarettes because they're tired of paying the taxes. But then when it comes to the government here in Canada and Revenue Canada, for these people who do get caught, they tend to have a tendency to just get a slap on the wrist because they know they can't pay this like $1.6 million back in, untaxed cigarettes. So they end up making, a plea deal where it's not going to affect your credit rating, and then it won't affect your life really, as long as you pay like a $50 fee towards that debt for the rest of your life. How does that work? So now these people who were selling cigarettes are just going to keep selling cigarettes. When you put these people into a $1.6 million debt because they're selling untaxed cigarettes, what's a way that you're going to do that? How are you going to make that $1.6 million back? You're going to keep selling cigarettes, or if not, selling even harder core drugs, or even start bringing in drugs like fentanyl, which are easy to produce, super cheap to produce, and it has a high dollar value when it comes to like street level marketing. So yeah, this whole smoking ban throughout the UK and stuff here, you're just going to give the criminals more advantage and more money to play with here. And yeah, I don't see, like, has prohibition ever done anything good for the rest of the world? No, it's only created more problems. And then over to China. Chinese researchers have developed a coal-based fuel cell that generates electricity through electrochemical process rather than combustion, as coal is normally associated with high pollution levels. Instead of being uh, burnt coal, this system converts chemical energy directly into electricity, avoiding the release of carbon dioxide, which is normally associated with high pollution levels. Scientists at the Shenzhen University who developed this CZDC-FC is described to be a zero carbon emissions direct coal fuel cell. And yes, this is going to reduce carbon emissions. Yes, this technology is just coming out now. Yes, it's going to reduce chemical or emissions in the air and stuff. But what other type of fallout is this going to come with? When it comes to coal plants and stuff like that, you still have to deal with the ash that comes from these coal plants, which is pretty dangerous, pretty toxic, pretty carcinogenic. So, like, what type of fallout is going to come with this? And then they're keeping this under their hat. They're like, wow, okay, we can clean the air. That's all fine and dandy, but we're not going to tell you what the byproduct of this is going to be at the end of the day. But yeah, this could be like affordable. Yes, we could get more energy out of this coal, and this could be good for the coal industry as well, as because China still uses a lot of coal, India still uses a lot of coal, even the United States. Trump's even talking about restarting up some of these defunct, shut down coal plants because there's such a necessity for energy right now, especially when it comes to these new giant AI data centers. And that's just going to fall down on the end consumers, and yeah, end consumers are still feeling this. Yeah, and then there's another issue too that could come with this. We might never see science like this ever reaching our doorstep because we're going to have the oil and gas industry that are going to shut stuff like this down if it is too efficient. Even in the United States, if something is too efficient or it's too good, it automatically gets put as a classified classification. So it all just gets hidden from us anyway, so we might never ever see anything come of this. Uh, and then back to Canada. As the access tax was removed last week, Canadians aren't seeing any changes in the fuel costs as the tax tax break did little or no changes. Did anyone in Canada see any changes? Maybe for a day. I think I seen 14 cents for about a day down after removing those taxes, those added taxes to a fuel cost, with some provinces varying from $1.59, which is the cheapest in Newfoundland. So good for you, Newfoundland. You guys, Newfies are paying the cheapest for gas at $1.59.8 per liter. This isn't per U.S. gallon, you guys. This is per liter. Okay, so a buck 50, buck 60 a liter, and this is regular fuel. I don't even want to know what premium gas looks like right now, but yeah, very expensive. And then with BC paying the most right now at almost $2 per liter at $1.93 per 0.6 per liter, almost $2 per liter. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. There's talks of doing that in Boston too. So yeah, some Canadians seen that 14 cents drop for only probably a day, and then that's just for regular gas costs, and gas costs are still rising right now. Some truckers right now are starting to park their trucks as it's not feasible at all to even fill their trucks, do loads, and then even getting parts to fix their trucks after being tariffed up the wazoo for parts, and then shortage of parts is starting to become an issue when it comes to vehicles, and which is kind of a little bit of a kick in the ass for anyone who was scared at the beginning of the Trump election when they talked about vehicle tariffs. A lot of people got scared and started purchasing brand new vehicles, thinking like, okay, we should purchase these new vehicles now before these like tariffs make new vehicles even more expensive. Now the people that have purchased these new vehicles are starting to regret these purchases due to the fact that you can't get parts for these vehicles. There's an absolute delay in manufacturing, or companies just not producing parts. They're more worried about producing the vehicles themselves instead of producing the parts to fix them. So if you have a brand new vehicle, 2026 vehicle, put your hand up if you're having any issues finding parts, or just warranty issues, recall issues, dealing with stuff like that. So a lot of automakers right now, they're doing a lot of recalls on their vehicles, especially Kia, Hyundai, Toyota, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, Harley Davidson, all coming up with major recalls right now. Dodge is a big run right now with their major Sprinter vans. Their big high top Sprinter vans. You normally see like Amazon using these vans and stuff like that. Well, apparently the brake lines and stuff are absolutely failure, and some of the risks are, well, the warnings are, do not drive, bring to dealership immediately. So yeah, that's not great. Imagine being an Amazon driver and be like, "Yeah, that's my stop. That's my stop. What? Stop, stop." Yeah, I wouldn't want to be an Amazon driver right now, and especially if you're driving a Dodge right now. Yeah, you guys should look into this too. Yeah, and the whole car's being made of plastic. Yeah, that's not hell. Yeah, we're getting charged more for plastic than what a metal bumper would cost, which is insane. And you know what? We should kind of do like, was it? I just lost track of where. Okay, yeah. So Ireland, at the beginning of April, they did a huge strike there with the truckers, farmers, even the people. They blocked the highways, they blocked Parliament, because they were starting to get fed up with fuel costs, and they got some actual reaction. The government started listening. They started putting, removing some of the taxes, probably till July again, same as Canada, to lower taxes on fuel costs and try and find a balance to be able to subsidize and keep fuel costs down for the people of Ireland. But you know what? That trucker rally that they had in Ottawa starting to look pretty good right now. I think Canada as a country, we should all sit on our hands for a day. Imagine if we could get the whole planet to just sit on our hands for a day and not move. You're like, just everyone be lazy for a day. Let's see if we can get the world to speak up here, because I think that's the only thing that's going to change this planet is if we all speak up. Because it's not just Canada, it's not just US, it's not the UK. The whole world is feeling the crunch right now, and it's all because of this conflict between Israel, Iran, and the US. And we got to stop saying the conflict between the US. It's Israel, the US, and Iran. Okay, like, I don't know why we're not bringing this up. It's always US war in Iran. No, it's not. It's Israel, US, and Iran, okay? Like, we need to start figuring this out. And yeah, diesel being taxed 70%. I think diesel right now here per liter, I don't go out very much because I just get frustrated with people out there. So yeah, I'm thinking diesel right now is pushing around $2 per liter here in Manitoba, which is just absolutely asinine. So expect more food costs to go up. Don't expect anything to come down right now. And then I don't know why some of these companies like Loblaws is going to sit down with like Maple Leaf and major food producers and be like, "Hey, you guys got to do something about charging us for, these surcharges for deliveries." What else are they supposed to do? Like, at the end of the day, like, they're gonna take a loss because you want a better deal, but meanwhile Loblaws is, you're gonna say, "Hey, we don't want to get ripped off by the producers of the food, but we have no problems ripping off the end users, by falsely like labeling products, proper weights, and then jacking the price of food up and mislabeling stuff like that as well." All food is going to go up. It's not going to stop here, you guys. Like, expect the next year and a half to be like this. Like, major investment firms across the United States, even across the world right now, are even talking, we're not going to see a change in fuel costs or food costs here for at least the next probably year and a half to 2 years. That's how far this has set us back. And when have we been set back this far? The last time Trump was in office. So yeah, Yeah, that's the last time the stock market and trade and all this stuff has been this bad. Yeah, there were a few things that or not Carney, President Biden had said, it did fluctuate the market, but nothing as bad as this. And yes, bread is going up in price as well. And then looking at the ingredients in your bread right now, because now they're starting to substitute ingredients in your bread to make it more feasible for the end user, but yet they aren't changing the price to make it cheaper for you. That price is always going to be the same. So that's pretty much it for the news. I got some stuff here right at the end, but news stripped down 30 minutes or less. Why? Because anything longer than this is probably just BS anyways. I won't talk about what happened to Trump yet on Sunday or on the weekend. I'm not going to talk about Epstein. I just basic news, stuff that's going to affect us as a planet as a whole, okay? $3 a loaf. Oh, that's a steal of a deal. I'll take that. You're looking at $4 to $5 a loaf, and I'm talking like your basic like Wonder Bread bullshit garbage breads. Like if you want something like locally made, like Winnipeg Rye, which is a massive rye bakery that supplies like most of Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Eastern Ontario, you're looking at anywhere from $5 to $7 for a loaf of rye bread, which is very popular here because it's locally made, and this is pretty much what most people eat here. Oh, so yeah, that's it for the news today. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm here Monday to Friday, 4 to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. I'm here in Canada. And let's end everything off on things that happened today in history. 1865, the steamboat SS Sultania explodes in the Mississippi River, killing anywhere from 1,800 to 2,400 passengers, with most of them being released POWs from the from the civil, who were paroled. Oh, I didn't put what war was. I was rushing when I did this. So yeah, most of those were all just POWs coming back from the Civil War. And it's kind of a little suspicious. These were POWs coming back home after being released from the Civil War. And, all of a sudden this boat blows up, killing most of them. The war was over, but that's still a pretty nasty way of cleaning up house, if you know what I mean. And then April 27th, 1904, Australian Labor Party is formed, becomes the first Labor government in the world, run by Prime Minister Chris Watson. April 27th, 1945, Italian partisans capture Benito Mussolini in Dango. Yeah, finally got that guy captured. Yeah, Mussolini, not a very nice guy. He was quite a dictator. But finally, they got that guy, and yeah, he didn't have a good ending to his final resting place. And then April 27th, 2005, the super jumbo jet, the Airbus 3 or A380, makes its first flight, but still dealing with issues with some of those planes. Some of the wings were cracking. There is issues with some of the exits and entrances, the doors to the aircraft, and yeah, also cracks that were very unexpected. And still some talks about how the tail of the aircraft is designed, because it's not fully hardened. It's a liquid tail. If you guys ever seen how this is made, it's almost like a carbon fiber, but it stays in almost in a liquid form, which is very interesting. It's just how it's woven together that makes it super strong. And then April 27th, 1810, Beethoven composes the piano piece Für Elise. Yeah, 1810. I thought it was older than that. And then April 27th, 1956, undefeated heavyweight Rocky Marciano retires from boxing. Rocky Marciano. You hear that name come up quite a bit, and nobody knows who he is. And he's a famous boxer. Then over to famous birthdays. April 27th, 1791 to 1872. Samuel Morse. He was 80 years old when he passed away. And he was known for his single wire telegraph system that came with the code bearing his name, Morris. Single wire, you know, dee 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 dee. And that was official use. It's still used today, but its official use was pretty much stopped in 1999. But there's still a lot of people around the world that still use it. But when it comes to satellite technology and stuff like that, Morse code is completely useless to them now. So, but there's still a lot of people that use Morse code just because of the simplicity behind it. And I almost think this is something they should be teaching in schools is Morse code. You know, you're blind, you're deaf. Morse code works for all of that. So it's like Braille. And then April 27th, 1822 to 1885, Ulysses Grant was 63. He was a famous general, U.S. general. Hey, Rob, how's it going? And April 27th, 1922 to 1988, Sheila Scott. She was 66 when she passed. She was known for 100 world record light aircrafts. 100 light aircraft world records. So she was like the what's her name? Amelia Earhart of her time, but she was from Britain. And April 27th, 1967, William Alexander, the King of the Netherlands, turns 59 today. Wow, fairly young for a king, you know, especially be leading a country. Wow. I don't even think we've had a US president in quite a few years that has been younger than 59, I don't believe. So to be a king of the Netherlands at 59, shout out to him. To come sit down with you one day. Or if you're ever in Canada, give me a shout. And April 27th, 1932 to 2014, Casey Kasson is 82 years old. Was 82 years old when he passed, and you probably remember him from the radio TV or radio program America Top 40 before what's his name took over. Oh, I can't remember that guy's name, but America Top 40, it's still on the radio today. Normally played on a Friday or Saturday night, normally replayed on Saturday nights. And April 27th, 1922 to 2012, Jack Klugman, probably he was 90 years old when he passed, and he was one of the main characters from like what was it, the TV sitcom The Odd Couple. If you guys remember that. I think that show only aired for about 3 years, but it's a fairly popular show back in the day. And April 27th, 1984 to today, Patrick Stumpf. He's the lead singer. He's 42 years old today. He's the lead singer for the band Fall Out Boy. And April 27th, 1988, Lizzo, another famous singer. I don't listen to Fall Out Boy or Lizzo. She is 38 years old today. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the news today, guys. If you like the news stripped down like this, 30 minutes or less, well, besides the other stuff, 30 minutes or less, because anything longer than that's just BS. And I will be back for tomorrow's show, Tuesday show. Actually, tomorrow might have to be a recorded show. I might go to help a friend of mine do some yard cleanup because they're getting up in age and they might have to possibly move, so I might have to help them, you know, clean up the house and sort through some stuff that they don't need because they're gonna, you know, move to a smaller location, so they aren't gonna need all the stuff that they have. So we'll see what happens. I could always, I'll try and be here for 4 o'clock tomorrow. But if not, I'll try and do a pre-recorded. But I don't like doing pre-recorded because I like the news that happens today not stuff that happened yesterday. I hate talking about old news because old news is old news. And I kind of get fed up when other news agencies just keep talking about the same thing over and over again. Old news, it's dead. Let it be. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully for a Tuesday show. New strip down, 30 minutes or less. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. And I'm out of here. Waka 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 away.